Hi, everyone. Welcome to your Master Your Mindset webinar. I am so excited to share with you how to master your mindset, elevate your health, and feel amazing at every stage. So, if you don't already, grab a pen and a notebook because this is going to blow your mind on how to master your mindset. So, first of all, I want to congratulate. We have 3 graduates of our 6-week Faster Way Challenge coming up this weekend. So, congratulations to Melissa, Brianne, and Crystal. Woo! Congratulations. So excited for you to finish this challenge. So, today is May 1st, and they are finishing in a few days. So, congratulations. So, with that, I hope you have your pen and a notebook or a piece of paper. We're going to talk about mastering your mindset. Okay, so it's game day. We are in spring. We are in the spring, and so it's baseball season, softball season, baseball season. And are you setting yourself up to win? So, thinking about if you're going out to the game and your coach is right there and your coach is telling you, okay, team, you're going to be terrible. You're going to do awful. Oh, you are overweight and you look bad and go win the game. Would you win the game? Of course not, right? So we've got to set ourselves up to win, just like a coach sets their team up to win. We've got to set ourselves up to win. And so we're going to talk about our thoughts because it's amazing, a 2-minute thought process or a 2-minute pep talk um, can make or break our results. A lot of times we focus on the how to or the actions, what to eat, when to eat, how often, and or, your fitness. And that's all important. But if we don't have the right mindset, then we won't get results. I've been coaching people for 13 and a half years, and some people have crushed their results, and other people have stayed the same. And, there's a lot of factors to it. But one of the factors is our mindset. And so thinking, are we setting ourselves up for success or not? So also thinking about the same team, if the coach goes in and says, okay, you're going to win. Like you look strong and healthy, you are amazing, you're fast, and just telling everyone their strengths and how they're going to win, and they go out there on the field and they're more likely to win versus if they, thought all these negative thoughts. Okay. So, what are your thoughts around these 4 things? So, write down these 4 things in your notebook or a piece of paper. So, you want to think about your thoughts around cooking, fitness, your body, and your time. And so we're going to go through each of these different things and talk about if we have negative or if we have positive thoughts around these 4 categories. So take a second and write those down. And by the way, this is like the dream kitchen here. So that's not like my real kitchen, but that gets us dreaming and thinking bigger. Okay, so what are your thoughts around cooking, fitness, your body, and your time? And you can pause this if you're watching the replay. But these are the 4 things that help us move forward with our results or hold us back. And so, like I talked about, knowing the actions are important, knowing the healthy recipes, knowing the workouts, those kind of things are important. But if our thoughts aren't aligned with our goals, then we won't see success. Okay. So the first thing we're going to talk about is our cooking. So when we say the word cooking, these are some negative thoughts that might come to your mind. I don't have time to cook healthy meals. I'm too exhausted by the end of the day to make anything nutritious. My kids won't eat what I make anyway, so why bother? Cooking healthy is too expensive and complicated. I'm not a good cook. I always mess things up. Meal prep takes forever. I can't keep up with it. I hate cooking. It's just another chore. It's easier to grab takeout or eat whatever's around. No one appreciates the effort I make in my meals. I end up snacking the whole time I cook, so I blow my progress anyway. Okay, so raise your hand if there's any of these have come to mind that when you think about cooking. I think it's really easy to think, negative thoughts. I know for me, I don't necessarily love cooking. And yeah, some of these things have come to mind. But just like that team that is going out to play the winning game, if we have thoughts like this, then we won't be successful in our nutrition goals. Okay, so now we're going to flip those thoughts to a positive. So if you said, I don't have time, something you could say is healthy meals don't have to take hours. With a little planning, I can make a quick, nourishing meal in 20 minutes or less. So flipping that thought around. Or if I'm too exhausted, you can say, I deserve to feel good, and a simple, healthy meal can actually boost my energy and mood. Maybe you say, my kids won't eat what I make. You can say, I'm setting a healthy example for my kids or my grandkids. Over time, they'll adapt and appreciate my efforts. Cooking healthy is too expensive. You could say healthy food can be affordable and simple. I just need a few go-to recipes and a smart grocery list. Negative, I'm not a good cook. You could say every meal is practice. The more I cook, the more confident and capable I become. Negative, meal prep takes forever. You could say even prepping just one thing like chopping veggies or cooking protein can make the work feel easier. So thinking about ways we can flip from a positive or negative mind frame to a positive mind frame about cooking. And, even noticing like when you're walking into the kitchen, what comes to mind? Is it overwhelm? Like what feelings do you feel? And it might sound weird because, it's easy to go to like, okay, let's follow the healthy meal plan, but we have to backtrack and go to what do I think? Because our thoughts become our actions. And if we don't change our thoughts, then we can't change our actions. And so thinking about those thoughts. Okay. So now we're going to talk about working out. So when you think about fitness or working out, these are some thoughts that might come up. I don't have time to work out. My days are packed with kids, work, and errands. There's no room for exercise. I'm too tired to even think about working out. By the time I get a moment to myself, I just want to rest. What's the point? I never see results anyway. I've tried before and nothing's changed. It feels hopeless. I feel embarrassed or out of place at the gym. Luckily, you can do our workouts at home, so you don't have to go to the gym. Everyone there looks fit and confident. I feel like I don't belong. I should focus on my family, not myself. Spending time exercising feels selfish when my kids need me. So these may be some thoughts that you have about exercise. And yeah, we've all been there, right? Like we've all had negative thoughts about exercise. But how can we turn it into a positive? So the positive could be, from I don't have time to even 10 to 20 minutes counts. A short workout's better than no workout. It boosts my energy, my mood, for everything else. Negative, I'm too tired. Reframe to movement gives me energy. I think that's so important because a lot of times we say, oh, I'm so tired. But instead of sitting down on the couch, if we just get up and walk around our house for a little bit, that movement gives us energy. And a gentle workout can actually help me feel more alive and refreshed. Negative, what's the point? I never see results anyway. Every workout is progress. So thinking I'm getting stronger, I'm getting healthier, I'm getting more confident, even if I don't see it yet. It's just like climbing up a mountain. We don't see progress like one step in front of the other, but we get to the top of the mountain and then we look back and we're like, wow, look how far I've come. And so, each day might feel like, oh, what's the point? But as we take one step at a time, we'll see the progress when we look back. So, negative, I feel embarrassed out of place. I know some people in our group work out at like a rec center or places like that. Um, so thinking everyone starts somewhere and I'm proud of myself for showing up and I belong here as much as anyone else. I love that, because just saying I'm proud of myself for showing up. I'm proud of myself for being here. I belong here. And that's so powerful. Okay, negative, I should focus on my family and not myself. I hear this all the time, especially if you are a busy mom or a busy grandma. But thinking taking care of myself is taking care of my family. That's so powerful. When I feel strong and well, I can show up as the mom or the grandma that I need, that they need. We are the someone in our family. So when we're saying I want to take care of my family, we've got to take care of us. And we want to fill our cup first. I love the quote, give from the overflow. If we are giving from the fumes and there's like fumes in our cup, then, we won't have as much patience. We won't be as happy. So giving from the overflow, really filling that cup up to the top with nourishing our body with good foods and exercising our bodies. And then we are feeling alive, refreshed, energized, and we can give to everyone else, give the best of us to everyone else. Okay, so now we're thinking about our body. And this is a really important one to think about because if we are constantly telling our body, like looking at ourselves in the mirror and saying negative things about ourselves, how are we gonna improve, right? So just like if you've heard of people talking to, animals or plants, positively or negatively, or even to like a child, that really affects the development and growth. And so, same with us. Like, if we're saying bad things to ourselves, then we are not going to see progress. So, changing the way we talk to ourselves. So, if some things might be, I hate the way I look. Nothing fits right anymore. I feel disgusting, or I'll never get my pre-baby body back, or, maybe we're 40, 50, or 60, or 70. Maybe I'll never be like I was when I was younger. My body is ruined. It's just downhill from here. I look old and worn out. My skin, my belly, everything is sagging. I don't even recognize myself. I shouldn't wear that. I'm too big. People will judge me if I wear tight clothes or a swimming suit. Why bother trying? My body is broken. No matter what I do, I can't lose weight or feel good in my skin. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's just chuck that off our back and stop saying negative things. We've got to say, would I say these things to my friend or my child or my sister or my mom? Of course not, right? But it's so easy to be mean to ourselves. So how are we going to flip that? We're going to flip it to the positive and we're going to say, instead of saying, I hate the way I look, we're going to say, my body has carried me through so much. I'm learning to treat it with the kindness and care it deserves. Saying I'll never get my pre-baby body back, or I'll never, look the way I did when I was younger. I love this. Like, this body created life. It may look different now, but it's strong, it's resilient, it's capable of amazing things. Just thinking that like puts a smile on my face. Like, because we are strong, we are capable, we are resilient. And the more we take care of ourselves, the better we will feel from the inside out. Um, Maybe we're saying, I look old and worn out. You can say, I've earned every line and curve. Each one tells a story of growth, strength, and love, because we've all been through so much. Negative, I shouldn't wear that. I'm too big. Flip it to, I deserve to wear what makes me feel confident and comfortable. My worth isn't defined by a size tag. Negative, why bother trying? My body is broken. My body isn't broken. I can listen, support it, take small steps to feel better every single day. So empowering. So we are flipping these things to the positive. So the last category is time. I know a lot of people say, I don't have time to take care of myself. Things like there's never, so how do you feel about time? When we say time, what comes up for you? Like, what kind of thoughts come up for you when you say, yeah, the time in the day? People say there's never enough time in the day. My to-do list keeps growing and I can't keep up. I don't have time for myself. Everyone else's needs come first, and I'm always last on the list. If I can't do it perfectly, it's not worth doing. If I don't have a full hour, there's no point in starting. I've wasted so much time. I should be further along by now. I should have figured this out years ago. It's too late for me to change. I'm too old, too busy, or too behind to get started. And I thought this mom in this car might represent some of us. Um, so, if you feel like you're like driving people around all the time, I know I do. I feel like I was in traffic for like an hour and a half just driving around the city to guitar and dance and anyway, all the things. And so, we could feel like, oh, there's just not enough time to take care of myself, right? Or maybe you have a career, or maybe we all fill our time with different things. But something that really helped me, I used to feel like really anxious and overwhelmed each day. Like when I was just like, how am I going to do all of these things? Because I love to do a lot of things. I love to fill my days with a lot of things. And so I used to feel anxious and overwhelmed. And one of my friends said this. So instead of saying there's never enough time in the day, you flip it to I have all the time I need to get everything done. And that was so powerful. So whenever I feel stressed or anxious, like, oh, I don't have enough time, oh, I can't do this, then I start saying this in my head. I say, I have all the time I need to get everything I need done. And I'm just like, wow, like it just automatically calms my body and automatically clears my head. And I just say that over and over, like when I'm feeling it. And then I just am able to think clearly, get everything I need to accomplish. Um, and I think sometimes, just the thought of I don't have enough time, I don't, just that thought makes it, puts a block, puts a brake on how much we can get done. But if we say, I have all the time I need to get everything I need to done, our mind figures out a way to make it happen. And we are able to make everything that we need to do done, or we were able to do everything. Another thing is I don't have time for myself, so we can reframe that to I deserve time too. Even 10 minutes of intentional me time helps me show up better for everyone else. So thinking of your day, like how much of your day is spent helping other people. And I know a lot of people, a lot of us have jobs, kids, grandkids, serving in the community. So thinking about how much time do you give to everyone else, and then how much time do you give to yourself? And so, saying you are important too, that's important, to giving yourself those extra minutes, especially in the morning. I know for me, like I've woken up when everyone wakes up in my house, and then I just feel stressed, and then I'm rushing through the day. But when I wake up, even 10 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour before everyone else, and take time to, I like to pray. I like to read my script, or well, I don't usually read scriptures in the morning. I do that at night. I make my bed. I do a workout. I have, drink water, things like that. Just that little refresh helps me to jump into the day more clearly and less in a frazzle. So, and of course, I'm not perfect. So I'm definitely not over here saying I've got it all together, but I'm saying I'm working on it. Some other things are, negative. If I can't do it perfectly, it's not worth doing. I know I've gotten caught in that. Like it's all or nothing. And it's like, no, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It can be progress over perfection, small imperfect actions moving forward. So, for example, like going on a trip. I love traveling. I love going out to eat, and I love trying all the foods. And I love the faster way plan because I've been able to enjoy all the foods. And my goal is just to do a little bit better than I did the other vacation. So if I had like five desserts one day, maybe I had like one or two, something like that. And so I'm not going to go extreme. I'm going to say progress over perfection, and just try to evaluate like, okay, I went on a trip. How could I have made that better? I went out to eat. How could I have done that better? Um, All right, so negative, I wasted so much time. I should be further along right now. Reframe it to I'm exactly where I need to be to start again. You're never behind. One of my mentors said that, you're never behind. Every step you take now honors where you've been and where you're going. And so maybe you used to be in like amazing shape and now you're not where you want to be, but you're exactly where you need to be right now and you can get to where you want to go. It's absolutely possible. But don't beat yourself up for not being in a better spot than you wish you would have by this point, because you're exactly where you need to be, and you can see progress moving forward. Um, the last one is it's too late for me to change. So you can change it to it's never too late. I can choose to start fresh today. My future self will thank me for this. So I love that because it's never too late. And, just get right back on, just think, what is my next healthy choice? Like maybe you blew it. I've done that before. Like, especially when I had like 70 pounds to lose, I had several, like, I'm trying to be perfect. And then I would binge days. I feel like I have a better balance now, but I would like be so strict on my nutrition or fitness and then I would just be like, this is way too hard. And then just like blow it. Like I remember going through the Arby's drive through and like just eating like all the roast beef sandwich with the cheese and the shake and the curly fries. And I was just sitting in the car like, forget this. This is way too hard. And so remembering progress over perfection, and it's not too late for us to change. It's never too late. We can start fresh today, and our future self will thank us. Okay. So flip your thoughts, change your life. We talked about those four categories of cooking, fitness, our body, and time. There's a lot of other things that we can change, starting with our thoughts. So if there's anything in your life that you have negative thoughts going on, it could be about anything. We can flip our thoughts and we can change our life. We can't control a lot of things that happen around us, like we can't control like what's happening maybe in our country or our world or whatever, but we can control the little world around us in our mind, and we can flip our thoughts to have a positive outlook. I'm showing the spatula because one of my best friends, when I lived in California, we were working on changing our thoughts, and she gave me a spatula for Christmas. And she said, whenever you flip your eggs, remember to flip your thoughts. And it's stuck with me ever since. And so, whenever you get out your spatula to flip your pancakes or your eggs or your breakfast, think, how can I flip this to a positive? And you'll be amazed, like at flipping your thoughts, like you will start to see, because we see whatever we look for, right? And whatever we focus on grows. And so, like, if we're looking for the problems, if we're looking for what's wrong and what's, not working, we will find that because what's wrong is always available. Tony Robbins says that what's wrong is always available. There's no shortage of, negative things around us, but what's right and what's good is also available. And we'll find that too. And so if we start looking for what's good and we start looking for solutions, if we keep looking at like, oh, this isn't working because this isn't working because, and instead we flip it to how can it work instead. That's so powerful. Like, how can it work? Then we can find solutions and we can get results. And, for me, like I have shared this, where I was so stuck with my health and fitness last year, seeing one of my highest weights, not being pregnant. And now today, down 21.5 pounds, broke through another plateau. And I am so excited. But a big part of it was changing my thoughts to how can I do this instead of this is not going to work. Because I had to change things definitely. As I've gotten older, I can't do the same, nutrition fitness plan I've been doing for years. I had to make changes, but I had to think, how can this work instead of it won't work? Okay. So we're almost done. So I'm so excited to share some tips from Diane. Diane is in California and she is in our challenge with us right now. She couldn't be here live, but she wanted to share some tips. And so she texted them to me before. So she said, surround yourself with positive people that encourage you to help you reach your goals. That's so powerful. Whoever we are around makes a huge difference. If we're around people that are like, it's not possible, why are you on a diet? Why are you eating so healthy? Da, da, da. It like affects us. But if we're around people that are like, yeah, be healthy, you can do this, that positive encouragement makes a huge difference. She said, focus on results, be encouraged when you see others getting results that you can do it too. So using that as positive motivation when we see people around us getting results, think, yes, I can do it too. So even when there are setbacks, never allow the negative or self-doubt get the upper hand, realizing your fitness and weight loss goals. So powerful. So don't let the self-doubt get the upper hand. We can do this. And then the last thing she said is journal and write down any challenges that you face. Practice saying positive messages to yourself to help you overcome them. So thank you, Diane. I know you're going to watch the replay. So thank you for sharing. Okay. And then I just wanted to check one thing. All right. So game day, going back to the beginning, we talked about the team and how the coach would come up to the team and say, okay, team, you're in. And, whether, so starting, we said a negative, like we said the negative things to the team. And then we said, go win the game, right? And the team is like, oh, we can't win. And they lose because they have all these negative thoughts. But then the same team has a coach saying positive things to them, and then they go out and they succeed. And so thinking of yourself as your coach. So of course I'm your coach here, helping you, encouraging you, but you are with you are with you every single day. And so you need to be that positive voice in your head. And you can even borrow my words saying, yes, you can do this, to set yourself up to win. Okay, so we are setting ourselves up to win, and then this is our winning game plan. So this is the challenge if you want to take it. So number one is notice your thoughts and don't judge them. It's easy to judge our thoughts, but it doesn't help. And so if a thought, because you might not even be aware of some of the thoughts that are going through your head. When we talked about these 4 categories, cooking, fitness, your body, or your time, but you just start noticing your thoughts. And maybe even as we went through these slides, then you thought about, oh, I didn't even realize I said that about time, or I didn't even realize that said that about fitness. But just notice them and don't judge. And then the second step is to write down your thoughts and say, is it true? Would I say this to a friend? So for example, if you're telling yourself, oh man, you look awful. You used to look better when you were younger. Is it true? Nope, it's not true. Let's just throw that one out the window. Would you say that to a friend? Absolutely not, right? And so then we flip it to a positive. So writing your thoughts, like if you have 2 columns and you write the negative on one side and the positive on the other side, and thinking of ways to flip them. And I'm happy to help you to flip your thoughts. And it needs to feel true. So if you're like, I'm doing terrible with exercise, and you want to flip it to a positive, and maybe you don't feel like you are doing as great, you can say, I'm improving my exercise. I'm working on getting better at this. And that can feel true to you, but it's in the positive instead of a negative. So just helping us progress. So then also zoom out and focus on the big picture. Will this matter in a week, a month, or a year? So let's say, you reach your goal weight, you reach your goal of whatever, wellness goal you set, like think of all these thoughts that are going through your head. Once you reach your goal, whenever you reach your goal, will those thoughts help you reach the goal, or will they stop you from reaching the goal? In a week, a month, a year, and it will make a difference. So then, like Diane talked about, surround yourself with uplifting voices, podcasts, social media, friends, community. Just thinking if you are pumping good things into your ears around you. Of course, there's people maybe that we work with or in our family or friends that aren't the most positive, and we can, of course, give them love, but we don't have to let their comments stick to us, right? We can, just like that story, I can't remember what it's called, something about the dots. They talk about sticking to us, but we can just say, bless and release, let them fly right off. The last thing is to celebrate your wins every single day. It's so important to celebrate your wins. We do this with our daughters. We ask them, what are your successes for the day? To celebrate those wins, because it's so easy to be really hard on ourselves. And that's why I love, like, whenever I have a phone call with you, we talk about your successes. What are your wins? Because when you focus on, like I say, whatever you focus on grows. So if we focus on how you are improving, then you will improve. But if we talk about what's not working and all the problems, then you'll continue to see that. And so I know sometimes even with our daughters, they're like, I'm not doing anything good. And it's like, okay, well, let's think about, and then we remind them or show them, oh, nope, you're doing this. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah. And then we build upon that. So I love this picture of this baseball player because she looks confident, she looks focused, she looks like I am gonna win that baseball game or that softball game. And so thinking about that, putting your most confident face on and facing the day because you have all the tools you need to succeed. Especially Faster Way is an incredible program to help you succeed. You have all the tools you need. And so the missing piece is just that mindset piece, and we can flip those thoughts around and get results. So thank you so much for being here tonight. I hope this has been helpful, and I can't wait to hear from you, to hear what your thoughts are as you are flipping your thoughts from a negative to a positive, and to help you to get results. So anyone here on the call that's live, does anyone want to ask a question or share something? We have a couple of minutes.
Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Brenda. How are you?
Hi. Good.
Thanks for being here.
Oh yeah, no problem. I had wrote something down. Oh, I really like the comment when you said when you've got to the top of the mountain and you look back and it's like, look how far I've come. That was great, and I wrote that down. So
Oh, good.
when I'm having a hard day, I'm gonna think of that.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So
Oh, I'm so glad you liked that. Yeah,
yeah.
my dad he hikes mountains, and he told me that one time when I was in college and I was so stressed, and he was just like, one step at a time, and then look back and you'll be proud of yourself. So,
Right. Yeah. I've come a long way. So I'm like, yeah, I could use that.
yeah. Oh, you've come so far. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us your results, Brenda.
Since January, I'm at minus 17 pounds I've lost. But overall, since October, I'm at 37. So
Amazing.
I
Amazing.
know I'm thrilled.
Yes. Congratulations.
So
You've been doing
yeah,
incredible.
yeah. And writing, you have to write things down. Every single thing you have to write down, no matter what.
Mhm.
Because when you're doing macro, I mean, you have to just to make yourself accountable.
Absolutely. Yeah, it
So
makes a huge
thank you.
difference. Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Brenda. I appreciate
Yep.
you being here, and you're doing amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Sure, you too. Well,
Yeah.
thanks everyone for being here. I hope you have a great night or a great day whenever you're watching this, and I will talk to you again soon. Good night, everyone.